DohJe. It violates all the marketing rules around easy to say, easy to spell, but it is becoming a word. I'm going to DohJe you. Hey, I got my first DohJe. So DohJe.com. It's a phonetic spelling of thank you in Cantonese. So I'm going to tell you a story about Madeline. Madeline's mom was in the ICU 2 years ago. And she really wanted to thank the people who had seen her through and her family through this incredibly intense event where they thought her mom wasn't going to make it. And she was wondering, would the people who helped her be interested in seeing that her mom walked down the aisle with one of her daughters 2 years later without a walker, just holding onto her dad's arm. And so, you could go track them down if any of you guys have been in this position. You can send cookies, you can send flowers, you can send a note for the floor, but she wanted those specific people to know what impact they had. And so she had heard about DohJe. We were featured on AOL's homepage in May for Nurses Week, and it said, thank anybody, anywhere, we'll deliver the gratitude. So we had 4 customers and wanted to run an experiment to see what people think, people that we're not directly working with, because I'll tell you more about our customers in a minute. There you can find and thank them. Let's just see if they will. And we found that people had this amazing amount of unexpressed gratitude and they want to get it out. And then we go and track them down. And our customers are at a hospital, so we deliver the gratitude and it begins the conversation about why the existing systems they have are not significant. In the case of Madeline's mom, the team that she had thanked was blown away. They called her back personally and said thank you for that note. And people had asked how people are going to hear about DohJe, and Madeline tweeted about us to 32,000 followers, which was also very nice. So what is the problem right now? Raise your hand if you've ever been in the hospital. Okay, so healthcare touches everybody. Keep it up. Raise your hand if you wanted to thank somebody. Keep it up if you want to thank somebody. And now keep it up if you actually did. Okay, that's pretty cool. Shout out, or actually, let me make it easier. Cookies. Did you have cookies or flowers? All right, did you write a note? Okay. You wrote a note? Okay, now raise your hand if you wanted to say thank you and didn't. A few people. Don't be offended, I did. 5 years. So the reason I started this is I had a nurse who helped me when I delivered my first son. 5 years went by and I never tracked her down. Finally did in the middle of doing this project, like how can I not thank her? With my second son, I had an even more intense situation and I finally tracked down my nurse in person 8 months afterwards. And I was like, how can I thank you? What can I do? She's like, nothing, it's okay. This is my job, I know, what can I do? And she said, well, like a man, your petty would be nice. And I'm like, ah. So the original idea was everyone could give $25, $5, $10, $25, that's ethically okay, you're allowed, and they can go and get things they need. The reality in healthcare is they can't actually allow gifts. No one really will do that. And then we discovered, I don't come from a healthcare background, but we started to realize morale is at an all-time low. Studies have shown that nurses, the retention rate, they'll leave, 30% of nurses will leave in the first year, 52% will leave by the end of the second year, at a cost of $82,000 to replace each nurse. So this actually has a really big business impact on hospitals, and so this is important. We also learned that patient satisfaction is incredibly important. The first chief of patient experience was created at the Cleveland Clinic in 2007, and there's over 90 today. And so it's very important to hospitals. We got kind of lucky that we want to thank people, and this is actually a real business problem for them. And so what we have is an online recognition system. Patients can thank care providers. Teammates can also thank each other because they've been learning that creating a culture of gratitude lifts morale and provides better customer experience. People learn this at Southwest Airlines. It's not new. It's newer to healthcare. And so they've been writing paper cards and dropping it in a box, and then the manager goes and picks up the box and has to sort through it. So it's getting all that data. Earlier today, you guys heard about data. It's pretty simple data, but it's powerful. We cold called Johns Hopkins and said, we have a gratitude system. We give you information on who's happy. They're like, oh my God, come in. We have no data. We're Johns Hopkins, no data. So where we're at right now is it took us all 2013 was figuring out HIPAA. That's the big elephant in the room, HIPAA. How are you going to allow patients to communicate with care providers because they can't connect directly unless it's a secure network? We don't integrate with the hospital IT system, so that creates a little bit more of a barrier. And patients can say whatever they want. The only HIPAA rule is that care providers have to respond in a general way. So we wrote pre-written responses. Thanks so much for your note. It means the world to me. You're here to hear that you're doing well. Things like that. That got rid of the HIPAA concern. We launched with UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital. That went really well. Now we're starting to scale. We've got 4 customers. We're launching with Kaiser hopefully next month. and we're launching a research study. So the money that we're raising right now, we're in the process of raising our seed round. We're about halfway there, and the money is to help fund free pilots. And we originally got paid for our pilot, but we wanted to grow more quickly, and we need to get data to show how gratitude actually affects the bottom line for hospitals. And so Harvard Business School professor and a Dr. Ed Kaiser, who's the head of innovation, they are leading the study, and we're going to show how this gratitude system can improve retention rates, absenteeism, morale and well-being, and patient satisfaction. Thank you.
So how will you monetize it? What will hospitals will pay for this, and how much will they pay for it, and what's the market opportunity?
Yeah, so that's one reason we're doing the research, to figure out exactly what the value is to them. I didn't mention that we also help raise money for the foundations, because grateful patient programs have been run by the foundations typically, and so they say, hey, if you're grateful, donate. We're saying, if you're grateful, think the person who helped you, and then click here to go donate. So there's value to them. We give patient stories for the marketing people to see these great stories. People opt in. About 32% of people will opt in to share their gratitude, so there's a marketing value. And then HR for retention. You know, if you just help keep one person, that's $82,000.
Right, but do you have any idea on price points?
Yeah, $13,000 was easy for people to pay for one department pilot of 140 people. And so to me, it was way higher than I actually thought, coming from consumer, where people don't pay. You were like, hey, try this out. I said, how much does it cost? I said, $13,000. They said, fine. So I think it can go up. But we're still working on that. That's one of the things that we want to figure. We have to get case studies and then get to where we're ready to scale. At that point, we're going on Salesforce.
So what protections do you put in place for the hospitals?
What protections are going to put in place for the hospitals?
Yes, CMS, that's for Medicaid and Medicare.
Yep.
Reimbursement rates,
Yep.
customer satisfaction.
Yep.
So how are you going to tie your program to make sure when it comes to the bottom line,
Yep.
you're not going to
Great question. She asked how we're not going to hurt the reimbursement rates. Because CMS is the Center for Medicare and Medicaid, and they're tying 30% of the performance score, which is their incentive payment, is tied to patient satisfaction. And hospitals are really concerned at first. They said, what happens if they say thank you? Are they not going to fill out these forms? But studies have actually shown, and we want to prove it through our work as well, that if you express your gratitude, you are more likely to fill out that form. In the long run, we would love CMS to use our data, but that's challenging.
So that works if it's happy, but what if you're getting more customer feedback? That's what the hospitals are doing, is they're going to be looking at. Is your gratitude system going to turn into an epidemic system?
What? Okay. I'm happy to talk to you afterwards. It sounds like you haven't finished. I'd love to. Please find me. Is there anything else? That's it? Okay. Thanks.